The look that says it all. Serial rapist Thabo Bester and his lover meet up in court.
Well, if by arrogance she means that we are not prepared to negotiate with people who are holding a gun to the city's head and going out there and perpetrating acts of violence and intimidation and mayhem on the city streets, then so be it.
Defending upholding the law as the Transport Minister orders taxis impounded in the Western Cape to be released. The devastating impact of another sinkhole in Centurion.
I think everybody knows there's sinkholes in the area.
And from dust to dust, singing legend Sinead OConnor is buried in Ireland. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.
This is Eyewitness News.
The apparently funny side to an escape that left bodies and trauma behind. Serial rapist and murderer Thabo Bester and his accomplice Nandipa Magudumana couldn't hide their feelings when they saw each other in court. This is what happened today.
Nandipa and Bester during court proceedings were acting very lovey-dovey in court, and the court never reprimanded them at any stage to correct their behavior as they were seated in a court of law. But the most prevalent thing was a list of items that Bester allegedly had at the time of his arrest, and these items are alleged to have gone missing, so he claims. These items and valuables amount to 30 million rand. He alleges that he had various items, valuables ranging from sunglasses to watches to clothing and laptops and phones, and also various amounts of cash in the form of different currencies. Some of the things that Bester claims he had at the time, and the most expensive items that he had, were 6 watches. And these watches, he had 2 Rolexes and 2 AP watches. He claims that each one of these watches were at least 2.5 million rand. He also included a list of officials that were present during his arrest. Now, the case has been postponed to October 11th for final investigations by the state before they wrap up all the investigations leading into pre-trial and eventually trial.
The murder, the mayhem and chaos linked to the taxi strike in the Western Cape, and now the politics. Transport Minister Sindiswa Chikunga has ordered the immediate release of impounded taxis, saying it was unlawful, and labelled the City of Cape Town officials, quote, arrogant. Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says they're acting on national legislation which the minister should be defending.
The provisions under which we are actually enforcing against the taxis are provisions of the NLTA. It is a national piece of legislation. She should be defending her own legislation. This is not some whimsical or malicious new piece of legislation cooked up by a DA government. It is a national piece of legislation which we are actually implementing and enforcing. That might not be the case nationally, but it is the case here.
Emergency medical services have issued a code red in 70 areas, which means delays in response times. And those wanting to open shops in Khayelitsha's central business district have been told not to after days of mayhem linked to the taxi strike. Customers have been told to vacate shops and the CBD with immediate effect and for an indefinite period of time.
We asked the tenants, all the shops, to close until further notice. So today I see the movements from SPAR, then I am going to SPAR now to ask them to close as we agreed yesterday, because the strike is still taking place, and I hear that there are a lot of things happening around.
The Cape Town High Court has also ruled that taxis may no longer block roads in the province. The taxi strike has entered its second week following an ongoing dispute between Santako and the city's law enforcement unit. Another sinkhole has formed in Centurion, but this time it has destroyed the entrances of 2 residential homes. The sinkhole appeared on Saturday night on Burger Avenue in Littleton. Residents have now been left without water after the municipality cut supply to prevent another sinkhole from forming.
People are here, the risk is there, and I think everybody knows there's sinkholes in the area. The expert geology person has looked at the safety of places, and where people are in dire danger, they've been issued evacuation notices for their own safety.
We are terrified, and when we sleep with one eye open always. because I mean, what happened across the street, it's possible that it can also happen.
The Senzo Meyiwa trial began on a tense note this morning as Tumelo Madlala squared off with one of the defence lawyers about the night the footballer was killed. Madlala is among Meyiwa's longtime friends who were present when he was shot during an apparent robbery by two intruders in 2014. A cell phone analyst in the high-profile trial previously testified that no one in the house with Meyiwa called for help. Madlala admits that after fleeing from the intruders to one of the bedrooms, he didn't use his phone to call for emergency services, and he says with good reason.
When you ran to that room, you also took your phone with because you wanted to hide, or you hid your phone beneath the blankets that were in that room, correct?
Gunjan. It is indeed so.
Now, why didn't you call for help from your cell phone because you were now behind a locked room in...
That was my first time going to that house. I don't know any person in that vicinity. The only people that I knew were inside of the same house in which I was.
Calling for help by dialing toll-free 10111.
I've never used that number before. The circumstance that I found myself under, it was an unusual circumstance.
Singing legend Sinead OConnor has been laid to rest. The Nothing Compares to You singer was declared dead after she was found unresponsive at her home in southeast London last month. The cause of death is yet to be revealed. Today, her family has invited mourners to line the streets of the singer's hometown of Bray in County Wicklow from 10:30 this morning to say their final goodbyes. OConnor shot to fame in the early 90s with a cover of the song Nothing Compares to You, originally written by Prince. She regularly courted controversy over political, social and religious issues. At the time of her passing, she was working on a new album and considering book and movie offers. The quarter-final lineup at the FIFA Women's World Cup has been finalised following the completion of the round of 16 today. With an update from the action in Australia and New Zealand, here's Tolakela TK Sport Nganga.
There were just two round of 16 games taking place at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Colombia beat Jamaica 1-0, while France thumped Morocco 4-0. That means the quarter-final lineup for this tournament is now confirmed. 26 nations are now making their way back home, including Banyana. They'll be arriving in 3 different groups, starting on Tuesday, which includes a team that has Tembi Kgatlana in it. Meanwhile, the attention for Nigeria has turned to their dispute with their football federation. FIFPro have revealed that they've stepped in after it was revealed that some players haven't been paid since 2021. And while the Women's World Cup action is winding down, the rugby will take centre stage next month. With more on today's Springbok squad announcement, here's EWN Sports' Mawande Mateza.
The 33 players entrusted with the Springboks title defence at the Rugby World Cup in France starting next month have been announced. Unfortunately, there's no space for this man, Lukhanyo Am, after he was injured in the game against Argentina at the weekend. And there's no space too for fellow 2019 Rugby World Cup winner Andre Pollard, who's failed to recover from injury in time to be included in the squad. And Luatiago also misses out due to illness. There are 4 scrummers in the side. Unexpectedly, Faf de Klerk, as well as Jaden Hendrickson, Grant Williams and Cobus Reinach have all been included, as has 36-year-old hooker Dion Fourie, who has been included and will cover in the flank position as well.
Tolakela Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
And that's it from me, Jane Dutton. Enjoy Women's Day tomorrow. See you soon. Remember to like and subscribe.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.